Marketing and selling is essential in your online business. And when you have the right strategies and mindset, you not only can make a lot of money, but you can change a lot of lives. Welcome to the Online Marketing Podcast, where we help course creators, membership owners, and coaches market and sell their offers.
We're your hosts, Paul and Melissa Pruitt. Let's dive in and get started.
So today we are jamming all on high converting headlines.
You mean not low converting?
No, not low converting. That's preposterous.
But you know what? I think a lot of us like low converting headlines because I think that's what our sales feel like a lot of times, right? And this is where we're going to separate that and pull the curtain back and help you out so that they are high converting headlines.
Yeah, we've been jamming a lot about this. And remember, with headlines, it's all about grabbing your audience's attention and then keeping their attention too, because there's a lot of noise out in the market. There's a lot going on. So that headline is that one key piece that's going to get them into your world and let them know what you do and what you offer and how you can help them.
Yeah, you know what's really interesting with copy, and also when we specifically talk about headlines, is we have to really understand, like, we have couple parts of our mind that actually process this information. So we have the logical side.
Yes, the logical, the detail-oriented mind that's checking all the boxes, making sure they know all the details.
And then there's the emotional side.
And those are the heart-centered ones. Yeah. Those are the ones that make the decisions from the heart. And I think for all of us, we have both of those aspects. But definitely there's a pull to one or the other for most people.
Yeah. In your audience, you're going to have some people that are logical, like they lean more logically. So they're going to make and process their information and what you give them as far as, like, is that going to grab attention? Well, if it's a logical thinker and you have a really emotionally based headline, it might not actually connect with them. They might be like, I don't know about this. And the same in reverse, which I think is really interesting. Now, Melissa, have you done maybe like a logical, headline or like email or, copy recently that you might be able to give an example of this?
Absolutely. So a great example of logical would be FAQs. For those detail-oriented people, a headline is simple as like, we're answering your frequently asked questions. And that's where you go in and you answer those questions. You give them the details. You give them just everything that they want to know, all the details about your offer. So FAQs is a great way to really speak to that logical mind. It also makes them just feel reassurance and that you've got their back and you're answering all their questions.
You know what's really interesting, though, is that I see a lot of marketing in general where it's very matter of fact, just like that. Where all the copy, the headline and all the copy stays in that logical mind, like, hey, I have a course and it's this many modules, this many weeks, and I'm giving you hours and hours of this and blah, 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 and all this support. And they don't touch on the other side, which is the emotional mind, which is actually where the majority of people actually purchase. We might not want to admit, but the emotional mind is what gets us off the fence a lot of times in making that investment. Can you give me maybe like an example, maybe in our copy or any of our programs?
We just tested this recently with one of our courses, High Converting Challenges. And the headline that I used was Explode Your Bank Account with High Converting Challenges. Now, that got a lot of attention because, yes, in our businesses, we want more clients, we want better business, we want to build a business that serves us, but exploding our bank account, that's exciting. And we got a lot of attention for that headline.
Yeah, and that's what you want to think about. Like, that grabs attention, right? And then it's the copy right below it will support that headline, and it'll keep people in that emotional state. Because what happens if you think about the logical mind is like, what do you mean about that? I don't trust this, right? So we, a lot of times as human beings, will buy on emotion and then we'll justify through logic. Mm-hmm. So this is something that's really important to do. And this, by keeping this in mind when you do your headlines, because I know a lot of times you're probably thinking like, you probably bought a lot of things and it's hard to reflect back on that. And you're like, oh, I'm not going to do that. That's salesy. Like, I'm going to be different. And for a lot of us, I always, in the back of my mind, I'm like, how's that working out for me? By being the outlier a lot of times. And it's like, oh, okay, I need to look at human beings are human beings. And we're going to buy on emotion.
Yeah, it's important that we mix it up a little bit, play around with it, understand that not everyone woke up wanting your thing. So sometimes, that logical, straightforward approach does work. Other times we have to work towards that emotional piece and talk into those pain points, talk into the desire that your audience wants. And that's going to lead them more into your world and get them interested in what you have to say. Again, it's about keeping that attention once you grab their attention.
Yeah. And as Melissa said, not everybody woke up today thinking, we wish everybody woke up today thinking about our thing. So that means some of those hard hitting, like buy my thing now headlines, that are very logical logical, mind-based is going to turn the majority of your audience off because they're not ready, willing, and able. They're not in position. So we need to, but if you're aspirational, if you're talking about a pain point, they live in that or they wish life was that way. So when you get them in that emotional mind state, it's like, even if they're not ready, willing, and able, they still like share that emotion, that feeling. And it's like they can see themselves there. Even if they can't buy your thing today, they're going to follow you and they're going to save, they're going to prep up, they're going to be ready for your next launch, right? Which I think is very important.
Yeah. I think it's also important to remember that you don't have to be a professional copywriter to do this.
True.
I've been writing headlines for some time now, and it's a practice, but as you're doing this more and more, you're going to start to integrate some of your personality into it. So again, whether it's emotional, whether it's logical, insert your personality into your headlines. If you have a hobby, like if you love movies, how can you give the headlines with your offer with maybe a little movie spin? Or if there's something else that inspires you, how can you incorporate that as well? And practice and have fun and be creative with it. Because again, the more that you practice, the more that you do this, the better you're going to get at it. Build that muscle for your headline building as well. And then again, it's going to attract a different audience into your world.
Yeah. And you know, what's interesting is in our lives, we talked before in other spaces about like in the grocery store line, you see those magazines there at the 11th hour. A lot of us are inundated with copy all the time. Like it's, by driving down the road, you see a billboard that catches your eye. You're listening to the radio and one ad perks you up and you're entranced in it. And or you find yourself opening a magazine and you're pulled in on an ad, you don't know why. Have you ever had one of those commercials like on TV? It's like you're zoned out, but then some of those commercials like hit you emotionally, and it's a commercial, right? And you're like got a tear going down your face. You're like, oh my gosh, like how'd they hook me in that moment? There's copy, there are headlines around us all the time. So I definitely recommend create what's called a swipe copy file. That's where you're screen grabbing, or maybe you set up a separate email account where you are purposely getting these advertisements in, because you don't have to reinvent the world. You do not have to be a professional copywriter. You have it within yourself to create high converting headlines, to create high converting copy. You know what I'm really excited about is Melissa and I put together a really sweet freebie for you to help you along that path. Melissa, you want to talk about that?
Yes. So we have our 50 high converting headlines template. This is going to get you started with writing those headlines, especially if you're just getting into this and you're having like a little bit of that brain freeze of what exactly do I write? The templates are going to help you get started. And then you can get that creativity going and you can add a little bit of flair to it about your personality, again, that vibe and what you bring to it. So we are going to have a copy of that PDF for you to grab in the show notes. So you can grab that and you can start writing those headlines and use them all over the place. Use them on your emails, use them on your pages, grabbing that attention of your audience and keeping their attention.
Yeah, so what I recommend is you grab those templates, right? And that's your starting point. But then as you get your swipe copy and you're in the real world, just start making your own templates. Start looking at other industries, other opportunities, and just have your own running list so that you don't have to have writer's block. You don't have to be a professional copywriter. Like the copy is already out there. There's centuries of copy that has helped people, guided them into an informed buying decision throughout the years. And you can just leverage on that mind trust, that brain trust that's out there already in the world. Well, this is really fun today.
Yes.
Because we don't want to have low converting headlines, right?
Not low converting. No, not low converting. No, so make sure if you love the show, please subscribe to the show, share it with a friend, let them know that we do this because we love jamming on topics with your online business.
Yeah, so it's all about online marketing. And you know what? Stay tuned because marketing matters. We'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for listening to the Online Marketing Podcast. Be sure to subscribe to our show for free strategies and tips to market and sell your offers.
If you would like to work with us and our team to help you snap up more sales and incredible clients with a stellar marketing strategy that works, go to adaptivemembership.com and sign up for our wait list. We have a limited number of spots in our exclusive program to set you up for success and take action. We're waiting for you at adaptivemembership.com.